So guys, in this video I'm going to tell you why you should not set up a garden business in 2026. Stay tuned, follow me on this and we'll jump straight into it now. So number one, money. Um, Money is simply just unstable. It's just up and down. You just don't know. Winter comes and you effectively could have no work. That's it, providing you get a full calendar. In the summer, if you're new and you're starting off, you may get very little or very few calls, and that is the hard truth. Don't mind these videos that you see. You can do so many gardens for X amount a day, so many hundred. It's all nonsense. Yes, you can if you're seasoned, you're developed, you have a name out there, but most people, that's not going to happen. Weather, weather dependent. You wake up in the morning. I know here in Ireland it's raining most days. You look out the window, clients are going to cancel. They're going to say, I'm not going to bother getting the gardener over here today. It's too bad. You don't show up, you don't get paid. So straight away, you lose work. You have to reschedule. And this can swing in round and roundabouts, and it can go on and on and on. You can have a bad month, equipment breaks, a lot happens. You spend a lot of savings that you may have put away to try and carry you through for the winter months. Things can happen so bloody quickly. The money is just very, very unstable. Another comment that I've seen is a physical toll it takes on the body. Very true. I mean, if you're still doing this late into your 50s, you're going to be broken up. It's going to be hard on the body. I think if you're doing this business, you spend a few years, working the tools, get out physically doing the work. But if you can, try and get staff. Try and, where you are simply doing quotes, you're doing tendering, you're doing prices, but you're not out there grafting day in and day out. If you're doing that, you probably won't last very long. You really won't. It's very, very hard on the body. You can have an injury. You can hurt your leg. You can hurt your arm, and you could be gone for days, weeks. You have no pay. You have no backup. There's no such thing as sick pay in this business. So that's the hard truth of it. The big thing, of course, with this business is that you sell your time for money. Problem about that is that if you don't physically get up out of bed and do anything, you won't get paid. So you go away, you lose money. Again, if you have staff, yes, that's not the same thing. But a lot of people don't have staff; they are one-man bands. So if they don't go out and do the work, then they're going to lose the money for the work. Simple as. So that's another thing to bear in mind. Another big factor, I think one of the biggest factors, even if not the most important one, is customers. Truth be told is some people are not great, some people are bad, some people expect loads but pay crap. And you're going to be dealing with stress from customers, you're going to be dealing with managing expectations, you're going to be having issues trying to get paid. We do commercial work, and we can be months behind on invoices just to try and get them settled. If you were waiting on that paycheck every month, you'd be in serious trouble. So, people, as I said, will always try and expect and get more out of you. You really need to set your boundaries. That's the big thing here. And then, of course, the as I mentioned earlier on, and then when I was discussing money, is the bloody weather. Unless you are hardcore and you can go out again, if you do commercial work, the weather is less so important because you'll go out, you'll still do what you do, and you'll still get paid. If you're doing a lot of private work, they may text you and say, "Do you know what, today, let's not bother, or let's leave it for the week," and then you potentially miss or you don't get paid for that week's work because you haven't done anything. And that's where the weather can really eat into your pay packet if you're only doing private work. That is just the hard truth. It's particularly here in Ireland, the weather is pretty bad most of the year. And then, of course, the big thing is tools. If you have a mower that breaks, you could be out of work for days. If you have something that needs replacing, you have an issue with your van, you could be potentially also out of work for days. These are unfortunate the realities of running a business and how difficult it can be, particularly a garden business. With all this negativity and and seriousness, the question is it worthwhile to set up a garden business? It can be, but only in certain circumstances. And those circumstances I will discuss in the next video. But it can be, and they are more leading on to either a side hustle or a niche grounds maintenance business. Now, that is not the same as a garden business, you know. They are two very different beasts. So, anyway, that's just a quick video on basically on why I think you should not set up a garden business. If you have any questions or any comments, do let me know. But again, I wanted to keep it nice and short because I've seen so many videos on, yes, you should set up a garden business, and you can make 300 quid a day, you can make 500 quid a day. Yeah, you can. But that is the minority. That is not the majority of people, solo people out there on their own, going out, cutting grass. They're just not they're not consistently, and they're not stable enough in their income that you just don't know, unfortunately, from day to day what can happen and how quickly you can lose and gain work. And that is the hard truth. And it's I said this before, it's not necessarily about what you know. It's trying to get yourself out there, it's trying to get in with the proper companies, and because if you have a business that only runs for a certain few months of the year, well, that isn't a business. You can't have a business that generates nothing for 4+ months of the year. Although even in some cases people might still make a reduced amount during those months, but in some cases people take them off, or they just simply don't make anything. That is not a great option to be in, and really, really is not a viable way of actually growing and scale a business. A gardening business is extremely hard to scale anyway, but when you have that, it's really next to impossible. But anyway, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, because most that watch these videos do not subscribe. Please do. I'm going to have more content coming out in the next while, and thanks again for watching. Cheers.